Hey guys, welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. Today's episode is a 5 under 5 DIY challenge. I will explain more about that later. I have 5 beautiful fall farmhouse favorites for you. I know you're going to love them. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing. And if you like any of today's projects, remember to hit that thumbs up. But let's make some DIYs. So for this project, I'm taking some painter sticks and I am measuring them out for how long I want to cut them. So I'm making some kind of like crate pumpkins, and you can see that I have like 4 sticks in some, 5 sticks in some, just kind of depends on the size I want my pumpkin. But you can cut it down with a miter saw. Somebody pointed out to me that this is a miter saw, which I thought, since it fit on my table, that I just called it a table saw, but it is a miter saw. But you can use a hand one or an electric one, power tool, whatever you've got. And I'm just going to put a little popsicle stick in between each of these to create that little crate type of look. And then I just take another little piece that I have cut down and put that on the back to make a little palette. You could probably even use just palette signs from Dollar Tree, but I wanted these different sizes. So now I'm going to measure around each of them because I want to make it a box. So I am going to cut the little sizes on my painter sticks down to match the size on the box. And by taping these sticks together, they cut super fast and super easy. So that was kind of a good idea to do that. So try that if you're cutting lots of painter sticks together. So I'm just going to super glue the sides onto all of these little boxes here. They just look like little, I guess, palette crates or palette, I don't even know, but I just thought they looked really cute and thought it was such a fun idea and the 3-dimensional look to them. So I'm going to paint them in the 3 colors that I have been using most of the season, and that is the moss, pumpkin, and plaster. Actually, I don't think I use plaster now that I say that. It's the pumpkin and the moss in Waverly chalk paint, and then I think I use mineral on this pumpkin right here. So I absolutely think that that color matches so well. I take a little detail brush to go in between to make sure that I get all that little spaces, and also in the corners, like on the back and stuff, you'll just need a little detail brush. Spray paint would probably work great too if you wanted to do that. Sometimes you just don't have, like orange spray paint on hand. So if you do, then great. And you can do them whatever colors would match your decor also. So this is just a little handle off of a little sponge brush, and I thought it would work perfect for the stems. The Dollar Tree handles are a little bit bigger than like ones you get on Amazon or Hobby Lobby. So I was just showing you the size difference there. So I just cut a couple of them in half. So I have 3 stems for my pumpkins. And I'm just using a little bit of sandpaper. I use a nail file to kind of soften those edges so they're not so sharp where you cut them. And I'm going to do 2 green stems and then 1 stem with my antique Waverly wax. Now this would be completely optional, but I do like to distress a lot of things. If you've been here before, you know that about me, that I do love distressing. So I just go through with my little emery board and just kind of especially go over like the edges and things. And then I also take a little bit of antiquing wax and kind of just make these have a little bit of weathered look to them. So I go around all of the edges, concentrating kind of on the corners and on the slats in between. My orange one, I went a little heavy with the antiquing wax because I liked the contrast with that color. So again, this step is completely optional, but I really do like the way that it looks. Using a combination of wood glue and hot glue for that short-term, long-term hold, I glue on all 3 of the stems onto the pumpkin. So the handle that I used for this smaller pumpkin was one of the thinner handles, so it's a little bit slimmer, I guess you would say, on the handle. On the pumpkin stem. And so here I'm gluing my last one on. And then I just take some raffia and I just tie that onto, I just slip it on. So I started tying it, slipped it onto the stem, and then just kind of crinkled it up, cut it to size however I wanted it to make it look really good. You could even do just a bow, you could do burlap ribbon, customize it to what you like. I just really like the way that the raffia looked on here. Here are my palette, crate, whatever you want to call them, pumpkins. I love how these turned out. And if you notice, I did one of them with the slats going sideways where the other 2, the slats are going up. I just like the contrast of that. I thought these were super cute. It took 3 packages of paint sticks was all, so $3 for these pumpkins. Today's video is a 5 under 5 DIY challenge video. Every month I get together with my good friend Missy to host this challenge. The idea is to take a theme, this month's theme is fall, and create 5 DIYs that each cost less than $5 to make. Each month we pick a guest host, and our guest host this month is Robin from Robin's Buys and DIYs. You're going to love Robin. She creates some beautiful pieces. There will be a link to her channel in my description box. For the playlist, there is a link down in my description box as well as posted in my comments pinned at the top, so it's easy for you to find. If you just click on that link, it will take you right to the playlist and it will play through everybody's different fall DIYs that they have created for you. If you're new or coming from the playlist, welcome. I would love to become crafting BFFs. Hit that subscribe button and you can craft together with me here on YouTube every week. And if you're returning or have been here before, it is great to have you back. But let's make some more DIYs. I have these 3 pumpkins that came from Dollar Tree, and these 2 pumpkins have these little burlap, like printed burlap things on the front of them. So I am just going to take those off to complete my project here. And to cover up the space where I took that off, I am just going to kind of run my finger around some craft paper to get a template. And I'm going to cut that out, and then I just use some glue stick and some hot glue to kind of cover that up to make it look a little bit more nice, a little bit more high end. For this bigger pumpkin, I'm going to use this in the middle of these 3 pumpkins. So I am painting it just a white color. I believe it's just plaster from Waverly, but any color that you want to do your pumpkins in to match your decor. Most of my DIYs this fall have been the moss Waverly chalk paint color, the pumpkin Waverly chalk paint color, and then plaster in Waverly chalk paint. So when I get to the top of this, I realize that it has this little hole in there, like where a little twine string went. So I do use just some spackle to put in there to kind of cover that up, let that dry and sand it off, paint it over to kind of make it look like it's all one piece and that's not even there. So using those paint colors that I mentioned there, I'm going to paint one pumpkin with the moss color, and then I will paint the other pumpkin with the pumpkin color. I then go back in and I will do my stems. I will do green stems on my orange and white pumpkin and a brown stem on my green pumpkin. Apparently, before I paint my stems, I'm going to go in, and I do want these little raised areas on this center pumpkin to show up and have a lot of depth and dimension. And so I do go in with that antiquing wax on just a little teeny brush, and I go around the edges of all of these little raised areas. So that way it kind of defines them a little bit more. So from far away, you can see that they're there. You wouldn't have to do this. It's just, it makes them pop a little bit more. I also go around the whole edge of the pumpkin to do that on all of the edges. Here's where I go in and paint the stem of my pumpkin. So again, I do 2 green stems, and then you'll see me in a minute do a brown stem on my green pumpkin. So I do go around the edge of these with a little bit of antiquing wax. I just really like the definition that this provides. This is completely optional. I just like the way that it looks. You could even go in and do a little bit more definition on the pumpkin, give it kind of its round ridges. I don't really know what those little bumps on the pumpkins are called. If you know, let me know. But I'm putting some words on these, so I'm just leaving them more blank in the center so those words pop. Hobby Lobby has these wooden words in their fall section this year. They say grateful, thankful, and blessed. You get like 3 of each, I believe, 2 or 3 of each in the package, and they are just a couple of dollars. It's a really good deal, I feel, and I've used them a lot, so I really have gotten my money's worth out of them. But I do cover these up with the white chalk paint. You could do them in any color that you want. A stained wood would look good. I just wanted that white to pop really well off of the orange and the green and have it tie into that middle pumpkin. I am just using some Gorilla Super Glue here, and I will just place those letters down. I don't measure things a lot, so if you want to measure them to get them a little bit more centered or straight, definitely do that. I'm kind of more of a eyeball it type of gal. So again, I just kind of glue these, stick them into as close to center as I get them, and call it good. On my cutting machine, I cut out an ampersand. I do know they sell different styles of wood cutout ampersands at Walmart for I think like $1.97 or something. So that would be an alternative that you could do. You could even freehand one on there or print one out and cut it, decoupage it on there. A lot of different ways that you can do that to kind of make it if you don't have a cutting machine. I'm going over it with a little bit of the plaster chalk paint to dull down the glossiness of the vinyl, because I don't think the glossiness really is all I had, and it didn't really fit with the whole project. So that's why I did that. And then I'm just going to glue the center pumpkin to the other two. So these other two pumpkins have that little stand on the bottom of them. So that will act as the stand that will hold the whole sign up. And you can just see I'm just kind of eyeballing it there, getting it to look good. Guys, look at how cute this looks. I'm so excited for this one. So I'm taking some raffia that I have and I'm just tying 2 little raffia bows. I'm just kind of cutting them down and sizing them as best I can to make sure that they kind of match the size of the pumpkins to how I want it to look. This is probably my most favorite project I've created all season. I love how this turned out. And really, it was like less than $4. What do you guys think of this one? This DIY is kind of like a 2 for DIY. So I wanted to kind of make a little collection here, and I'm trying to still perfect my decoupage technique. So I have this little charger that was from the fall section at Hobby Lobby, and these napkins are so stinking cute. They came from Dollar Tree, and what I'm going to try to do is decoupage, cut the napkin out onto the charger here to add a decorative plate to my china hutch. So I have a china hutch in my kitchen. I like to put fun little unique plates and stuff in for the different holidays. So this of course will not be food safe. So I want to mention that so that way we get that out of the way. But there's a couple layers of the napkins. So I'm just tearing this away and it becomes a very, very thin layer that's left here. So you're just delicate. I mean, it doesn't look like I'm being super delicate, but you do want to make sure that you don't tear it. And then for this particular one where the background is not the same color as the napkin, it's that galvanized metal, I want to cut as close to the design as I can. So this is a little bit, it takes a little bit of time because you really want to be as careful as you can. Now, this was so thin that some of the leaves and little things, I did my best to get in between, but I was not super picky because I knew once I decoupaged it that a lot of that white color would kind of blend into the galvanized. You'll see how it looks when I'm done. But you do want to kind of take your time and get as much of that excess around the edge as you can. I put some Mod Podge down in the center of the charger here, and then I'm just taking a brush and I will just spread this all around the center. I don't go up onto the edge of the charger or anything. I did want to make sure that I used a brush for this just because I didn't trust myself with one of the foam sponge brushes. I felt like I wanted to be so delicate with the edges, and I don't know, for some reason it just didn't seem like I could be as delicate with a foam brush as I could with an actual brush. So after I spread the that's the process we're doing, is decoupaging. After I spread the Mod Podge out, I just lay down that little cute decal. So I did use my Mod Podge roller here, and I did quickly realize that I didn't want to do that with this napkin because it was not as delicate as I really needed to be. I did not want to tear it or anything. And so I just went ahead with my brush and I just kind of go around the edges and make sure that all of the edges are secured down with the Mod Podge. And then I take some Mod Podge and put in the center of my design there, and I just go all the way over, making sure that all of it is completely covered. This will just make sure that that design is adhered very well. And you can see how that little bit of between the leaves there, the little white from the napkin that obviously I couldn't cut in between all of those leaves, it does blend in extremely well to the galvanized. So this right here is just a platter that I had from Dollar Tree and some paper placemats that I got from Hobby Lobby. So what I'm going to do first is just spray paint my platter from Dollar Tree. And I'm just using some spray chalk paint. Do it in whatever color you would like. This is also going to go in my china hutch. It's just kind of a fun fall decorative platter. Again, not food safe, but definitely fun to put out to decorate with. You could easily put some napkins or some of your silverware or something on it. So I'm going to trace around the base onto my paper napkin to get the general shape, and then I'll just cut that out with my scissors. After you make sure that your little decal fits the exact way that you want it, you're just going to put some Mod Podge in here. So I just kind of put a bunch on there and go all the way around. This one I was fine using my foam brush with because it was not as delicate as that napkin. And then I do put a little bit of the Mod Podge on the back of the decal, the little paper placemat.
And then you're just going to very carefully eyeball it, get it kind of, you do have a little bit of wiggle room with the Mod Podge. And I do get out my roller to kind of get out any bubbles or anything. And you'll see here that I end up lifting it up and then using that roller to go down. This worked extremely well for getting out the bubbles on that. So if you have one of the rollers, then try this method. I highly recommend one of these rollers. And again, I'll just link that down in my description box. So if you guys want to have a look at those, I absolutely love it. They do sell them at Hobby Lobby though. I've seen them there also. So I'm deciding that I want this particular platter to have the same texture all over, since, you know, if you were to buy it as like an actual platter that had a design on it, it would all have that glossy look. So I do go all the way over completely with Mod Podge, and my intent was to leave it like this, and so that's why I'm doing this step here. And then I actually decided, well, I guess right here what you're seeing me do is I decided to kind of antique the edges a little bit. Sometimes on a couple of plates that I have, it looks like they've kind of given it that farmhouse kind of style. So I thought that would kind of blend the white paint into the cream color on the napkin, not napkin, the paper placemat. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, and so I just kind of rub that antiquing wax in, and then I into the edges, and then I rub it off with a baby wipe. And then I'm just taking some of my plaster chalk paint and just kind of pushing that back in to kind of make it a little bit, that white pop through a little bit more. And then I go through and completely coat it with my clear coat spray paint. So I felt like that gave it the best shine to make it look completely like a platter that you actually bought, not like a paper placemat and a Dollar Tree platter. But let me know what you think of these. I love them. I think they're going to be so cute in my China hutch for fall time. I'm excited to have these in there. What do you guys think of these? Do you guys like decoupaging or not so much?
Are you guys on Instagram? If you are, I would love if you would come and find me. I am Farm Charm Chic over there. I'll leave a link down in my description box so you can easily find me. But come and see what I'm working on. I post there quite a bit. I like to show you things that I'm working on, or when I have videos ready. It's just another place to stay in touch. So if you do come find me, remember to send me a DM and say hi, because I do love meeting new friends.
Hiding in my stash, I found this Easter tag sign from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to take my emery board and file off as much glitter as I can. I then will take some of this brown craft paper and I will cut it to size, and then in order to make this fit the best that I can, I'm just going to lay it on my sign, and I will run my finger over the edge of the sign to indent that shape of the sign into the paper, so when I go cut it with my scissors, I can get the closest shape that I can. To adhere this to the sign, I'm going to use just some trusty old glue stick and some hot glue. I'm going to do this for a couple of reasons. First and foremost is there is a lot of glitter that is on this sign, and this will contain any that is left. We all know how much Dollar Tree loves their glitter. I swear they must own stock in a glitter company or something, because they use a lot of glitter. So it will contain that. And the next is it's just obviously going to cover the design that is there up. It takes less paint, and it is going to make it look a little bit more high end, kind of take it to the next level. So I just put my hot glue around the edge, and then once I place that craft paper down, I use my Mod Podge roller to flatten that out a little bit, and that just really helps adhere that. Then I'll just take my emery board, and in a downward motion, I will just file off the edges of that craft paper, and that's going to give it that very crisp look. On the top and the bottom of the sign, I am going to put this cute little pumpkin craft paper that I did get from Hobby Lobby, and I'm using my ruler to get as straight of line as I can, and then to keep that straight line, I will just use the edge of the paper. You can kind of see how I'm doing that there. And then the same thing, I will just rub my finger over the edge of the sign to indent that, and I will go in with my scissors and cut it as close as I can. And then same thing on this paper. To get that crisp edge, I just use my emery board. You can use a finger sander, sandpaper, anything that you like that works, and just do it in a downward motion softly, and that will just give you that crisp, clean edge. And then I will do the same thing on the bottom of this to add that same craft paper. So again, I just line my little paint stir stick there up on the edge of my tag sign, and then kind of eyeball where I want my paper to go up to. And then I will use the other straight edge of this paper to use as my top line. That will give it that crisp, clean, straight edge on the top there. You can see how I do that. And then of course, the same motions here. Put your finger or two, indent the sign, and then actually I guess this one I don't really need to do that because you can just cut it since it's straight as close to the edge, and then you'll just sand off the edges of the paper like this. So I did use my Cricut cutting machine. You can use any type of rub-on transfers or stickers. If you are at all familiar with my channel, you know that I absolutely cannot freehand things no matter how hard I try. It is very frustrating to me. And as much as I would love to perfect that, I just don't have the patience to do it. So I did use this little design that was in Cricut Design Space to cut these words out. So I'm just going to push this down onto my sign here, Farm Fresh Pumpkin Patch. I just love the font that was on that. And then it also had this little You Pick sign that I'm going to put down there on the bottom. And as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, I have this darling little truck that I got from Hobby Lobby. I think it was like $2.99, and then of course they're 40% off. I'm just going to glue this on there. It will give it that cute little three-dimensional look, and I'm just using hot glue for this. And I thought this was the perfect way to use this little truck. It would also be super cute on like a tiered tray or something, but I just love this little sign that I'm making. And I'm just using my little weeding tool. You could use whatever to stick through where that hole is up at the top of your tag sign, because I'm going to use some rope to stick through here so that way we can hang our tag. Any kind of twine or string or whatever you have that you want to use to do this with will work. I just unraveled some Dollar Tree rope and tied a knot into the end of one of the little strands, and then I just stuck it through as you saw there. And then on the knot portion, I just put a little bit of hot glue under that. That's going to make that knot so it doesn't slip up at all. You never see it, and it'll stay secure. And then just do some Mod Podge. You probably maybe want to do that before you glue your truck on, but I kind of forgot. But what do you guys think of this? I'm just smitten with this. I think it's absolutely darling. At Hobby Lobby, they have these really cute wooden chargers. They're $12.99 a piece, and they do have 40% off of them for fall, but I thought I could recreate them for much less and very simple. And of course, these are not going to be food safe, just like the wooden ones they had are not food safe, but I'm going to show you a really easy way to recreate these. So I have these little chargers, or got these chargers from Hobby Lobby, and they usually have some type of white charger that are around the $2 range. I also got these wooden letters in their fall section that say blessed, grateful, and thankful. And then they also had this package of words that said blessed and thankful that are with more of their Thanksgiving stuff for your Thanksgiving table. So I like both of these different words. And so I'm going to kind of see which one I like the best. So I'm going to stain this one that says blessed in the neutral wood, and you could easily leave it neutral if you wanted to. You can make this as simple as you want or as customized as you want. Here is what this blessed looks like on there. I really do like the color of that blessed, probably the best, but I like the size of these words on here. So I decide to go with these, and they do kind of have a coppery tone to them, which would be perfect for fall and perfect, to kind of bring that fall color in. Now I'm just showing you there, you could use Gorilla Glue to give these a permanent hold. You can also use hot glue, which is what I did. That way you could maybe change them up for different seasons if you wanted to. And so I do just run the hot glue on there and push that down really well to make sure that it gets a good grip. And then I do the same thing with this thankful. You can see I just kind of quickly go along all of the words there and then just hurry and place it down before the glue dries. That way you can kind of make sure that it sticks really well. So for not that much time and just a little bit of hot glue, I think these turned out so cute, so fun for a china hutch or to put on a plate rack. I love how these turned out.
I hope that you enjoyed these 5 fall favorite DIYs. I loved creating each and every one of them. They definitely add that farmhouse touch to my fall decor. I would love for you to check out the playlist, so remember to click that link in my description box or pinned in my comments so you can see all of the other wonderful inspiration that these other talented creators have made for you. As always, remember to be safe, be smart, be nice, be happy. Choose to have a good day because you are amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you next time. This video is dedicated to the purple pixie. Crystal sadly passed away this last week. She participated in this challenge a couple of times, and she will be very greatly missed in this community. Take this as a reminder to reach out to those that you love or hold close in your life and let them know how important and special they are. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, here's another one that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and have an amazing day.